Hi, I'm Marleen and welcome to the Sunny Sea Knits podcast, the third episode. I also made it in Dutch, but now it's the English version. And welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and thank you so much for returning. And if you're new here, welcome, and I hope you like the content. Yes, I'm a working mom, currently working as a doctor. And living in the Netherlands at the coast, the west coast, and together with my husband and my beautiful children. And of course, this is everything. This podcast is all about knitting. I have been knitting for a long while. I learned it from my grandmother when I was 6. And then there was a period of time that I didn't knit that much. And I actually was thinking about it, I started this cardigan, for example, when I was in 2012. And that this was actually my first real garment. Before I only knitted socks and gloves and beanies and all those things. And also I did some crochet then. But since 2012, since I started this one, it really took off and I got really addicted. And now I'm at the point that if I don't knit a day, it's not a good day. What I'm wearing is the Featherweight cardigan. It's a pattern from a book, which I bought at Cross & Wood in The Hague. This is the pattern. It's the Knitbot Essentials by Fettig. I made it a little bit longer, and also I made the band, how you call it, it's not a button band. If anybody has other suggestion which word I can use, then gladly. But this is only stockinette, and I did a 2x2 rib. And it's fingering weight, but it's knit on a 4mm needle, so that's why it has a little bit of a so that's why the gauge is a little bit wider, so it's more airier to wear. It's a very nice pattern and very clear also. Because it was my first garment, I didn't count the rows of the sleeves. What I ended up with was that the sleeves were a different length. Actually, they weren't similar. So I actually didn't do anything about it because I finished it. I knitted English style then, and now I knit continental. So it took me a long while to finish it, and then I didn't wear it like for 6 years, I think. And last year I thought, well, this is not good. It's like, every knitted garment has its value and is special, and because you put so much attention to it, it needs to be worn, right? So I shortened the sleeves and counted them with stitch markers, because I didn't know about stitch markers in 2012. So I counted the rows again, and then made them equal but shorter, so I had more wool for the edge, because the edge was first very small like this, and I didn't like it. It wasn't nice, so I did it again, and now I'm very happy with it, and I'm actually wearing it quite a lot. So it's I can really recommend the pattern as well. That's it, and the wool I also bought at Cross & Wood, but it was like 10 years ago. So what I finished is the Vintersol cardigan by Jennifer Steingass from Knit Love Wool on Instagram. And it's not a sweater anymore, it's a cardigan. I sticked it. So, and I also knitted a button band on it. And I stitched it back. So about the sticking, I did a collaboration with a shop, or a yarn shop here in the neighborhood, and she has a platform for knitting, and she asked me to take some videos, record some videos about the sticking, and so I did, but then I agreed not to talk about it in my own podcast. So but in a couple of months maybe I can tell you a little bit more, but now it's really she's using it a lot, so I'm sorry, but I cannot tell you a lot about sticking. The technique I used for this specific cardigan is with the sewing machine and the scissors, of course. You need scissors when you're going to stick. You need scissors. So that's I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about it too much about this technique, but the one I'm going to use with the Marie Wallin cardigan, it's with the needle felting. I of course will explain more. So what I used was the British blue wool I bought at Miriam Molenbeek, and it's very nice yarn, but it's very smooth, so that's why it's very difficult to use with the color work. From a distance it looks fine, you don't see anything, but from a little bit closer, I'm just going to show you my flaws. You see that the stitches aren't that well, so I'm going to adjust it with another needle and yeah, pull it a little bit better. Even though it's smooth, non-superwash, I'm very happy with it, because that's what it makes a very nice and wearable next to skin cardigan. I have size large, so I started with a large. I think it's size 4, but then after a couple of rows, I think I was a little bit around here, I noticed that it was too large. So sorry, I frocked it again and started in the size smaller, so I think it was a 3, the size 3, and then well, you knit up. And of course I explained in my second video, I think, that I frocked it and did it again. It has improved a little bit, but not as much as I would love to. But yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It's beautiful from a distance. And, so I did actually the top part I did 3 times, and the lower parts also, to just adjust the color work a little bit more, I also did twice, but yeah, that was a small effort. And when I started on the sleeves, for some reason the sleeves were a little bit too tight for me, even though I got I met the gauge. That's such a nice sentence to say, I met the gauge. Yeah. So hello gauge. So so I frocked it again, or I ripped it out, and because the degrees according to the pattern was after 8 rows you start the degrees already, but I didn't do that, so I just made a little bit of a math. So I just counted how many rows and how many decreases, and then I just how you say it? Verdelen. I just adjusted it, and then after 10, I think after 20 rows I did the first decrease, and then 20, and then every 8, something like that. Yeah, that's about it, and it's very nice and lovely. Just let me show you the back. Beautiful, isn't it? Very nice. So that's the Vintersol. So I'm going to talk about my whips, my works in progress. The first one is the April cardigan, is by Petite Knit. And this was a very impulsive project, because my mother, she had some yarn left over, like 3 skeins or something, from this beautiful yarn. It's Illimani Santi. You can buy it at Cross and Woods, and it's really beautiful. It changes color if you put it in the light, and that's actually also in real life. It's not only on the video. So yeah, it's very soft, very nice next to skin yarn. And what I did was I first knitted the sleeves, so there are now 1 and 2 sleeves. And then the body, because I have a little bit problems with the second sleeve syndrome. And yeah, I feel like I saw it at the podcast. It's from Ministerie gebreide zaken. It's Dutch, or it's actually Flemish. It's from Belgium. But they said if you have problems with a cardigan or with a sweater with the sleeves, then first knit the sleeves and then the body, and that's actually really the most fun for me. So I had some problems with the beginning. I made a mistake with the raglan, but now after that I didn't make any mistakes anymore, so that's very nice. So I hope I will continue in this mindset. I again use the stitch markers. I love stitch markers to count the rows. So I, for my point of start, I use this stitch marker, and then I put like 14 on the stitch marker, and then decreased. Yeah, there's nothing else to tell you about it. I hope I will finish it in May instead of April. I wanted to finish it in April, but it didn't work out. So that's that. Then I'm also knitting the leaf top. I already did it last year for a friend of mine. She had a size small medium, and it was a really nice pattern. And I immediately when I finished it, I thought I want also a leaf top. It's from the Knit Stitch, and yeah. So last year in June I cast it on a large. But the winter came and I stopped with it, and then because it's now spring, I thought, yeah, just let's try again to knit the leaf top and continue. But then it turned out pretty big actually, so I frocked it again and started a small medium, and I'm now very happy with it. I will show you. It's so beautiful. So it's a pattern by the Knit Stitch. The cotton, I'm using D cotton from We Are Knitters. It's very nice and soft cotton, very nice to knit with. It's knit on a 5mm needle, and I'm actually knitting it in one part. So the pattern is actually that you knit it in a front. Is it a panel? Front panel and back panel? I don't know. So it needs to be like this. Yeah, that's it's not that clear, I'm sorry, but it needs to become like this. So what I did is like something like, I don't know exactly, like 40 stitches or something for the front panels, and the back something like 70 or something. And then to prevent, because if you do the correct amount of which the pattern says, then you get 2 of these rows like that next to each other, because you need to mend them together. But so I decreased, I did 2 stitches lesser with the cast on than the pattern said, and now I'm just going to knit it in one part, and the front panel, when it's ready to do the strings for above and the triangle, I'm just going to knit it in and back at the front, and then the back in and front, and then do the triangle, and then continue like that, so it's in one piece. I don't know if that's a really clear explanation, but I hope you understand what I'm meaning. And I'm really looking forward to this leaf top. I saw that the podcast of Youngfolks, it's also a very nice podcast. She also made one, So it's a pattern that is really nice, and I can really recommend it. Then my next whip is, I keep it in this cute little bag, which I made myself, and the inner part has a different color. These are Legwarmers. These are Legwarmers. I made them already for myself from tukuwool, but my sister, she saw them and she wanted them also. And actually, I postponed it because I thought, well, it's already spring. She doesn't need any Legwarmers anymore. But still, she wanted those to finish. So now I just casted them on. I casted on, so it's a tukuwool DK, so I casted on 52 stitches on a 3.5 because I thought it was better, with the not a lot see-through. I actually didn't get a lot of progress from them, but now I took the, how do you say it? I just made an appointment with myself. Do you say it like that? Yeah, well, I'm just going to knit every day like 10 rows, so there's any progress in it. And because it's nice if knitting projects have a little bit of progress. Doesn't need to have that much, but just a little amount of progress. That's nice. Otherwise, it's always in your mind that you need to finish them and it doesn't work out, and I don't like that. Yes, and then I'm also going to show you something that's also, you call it hibernating, I think, a long time, because I started this one like a year ago or something, and I saw a picture on Instagram that last year I finished the first column. It's the Northeasterly Blanket from, I'm not going to pronounce the name, I will put it under. But this is my Northeasterly blanket, and I really like to finish this blanket because it's a beautiful blanket. Sorry for the, I have to weave those in. I know everyone who is knitting this one is using the weave in Steven method, but I don't trust the weave in Steven method. So I'm going to just weave them in with a needle. What can I tell you about this? I actually want to have more progress with my Northeasterly blanket. That's a wish, because it's now every time in my mind that it's a work in progress. I heard some other people say that they don't feel like blankets are a work in progress, but it's more like a long progress. But I saw that Skeins of Dreams, the podcast, she is hosting a make-along for Blankets of Dreams, and I actually thought, well, if I use this one, then maybe there's some progress, because if I only have progress like with one column a year, then after 10 years maybe I have a blanket, and I want to have a blanket sooner. So I'm going to use it for the make-along. And I used the advent calendar from Olivia and Oliver Fibers. I think it's from here. And these are all the colors of the advent calendar. So it's very nice, and also some sock yarn I finished. So it's a memory blanket, and also this color is the color of my vest I'm wearing. And these are socks, but also these skeins, for example, this one I just bought mini skeins and use them also, or as well. So that's about it. Those are my projects. It's not that much as last time, but I needed to record a lot of some movies, or movies, you say, films for the knitting platform for the local yarns shop here. So that took a lot of time as well. Thank you so much for watching until this point, and I hope to see you next time at the 4th episode. And have a lovely day.